Hi guys, my name is Vikram Vaidya and today I'll be talking about the latest techniques in high pressure measurement and will give a brief idea about their working. It is important to accurately measure high pressure in many industrial processes to ensure their safe operation, to ensure that they work efficiently, and to ensure optimal quality control. Some applications of using pressure or differential measurements include measuring the flow rate through a pipe, the level of fluid in a tank, the density of a substance, and the interface between two or more liquids in a tank. In this video, the high pressure which we will be looking at is in the order of 100 bars and upwards. The first type of gauge we are considering is the cylindrical type pressure cell, which is an example of a strain gauge. The main parts of this arrangement are as follows. It consists of a cylindrical tube with a hexagonal step at its center. This step helps fix this device onto the place where the pressure is to be measured. The bottom portion of the cylindrical tube is threaded externally and is open to receive the pressure to be measured. The top portion of the cylindrical tube is closed and has a cap screwed to it. On the periphery of the top portion of the tube are placed two sensing resistance strain gauges. On the cap, which is the unstrained location, are placed two temperature compensating strain gauges. Now coming to the working of this type of gauge, the pressure to be measured is applied to the open end of the cylindrical tube. Due to the pressure, the cylindrical tube is strained, that is, its dimension changes. As the strain gauges are mounted on the cylindrical tube, the dimension of the sensing strain gauges changes proportional to the change in dimension of the cylindrical tube, causing a resistance change of the strain gauges. The change in dimension of the cylindrical tube is proportional to applied pressure. Hence, the measurement of the resistance change of the sensing strain gauges becomes a measure of the applied pressure when calibrated. The next instrument we will be looking at is the Bridgman gauge. This is used to measure extremely high pressures. The gauge must also be used at a constant temperature only and generally has an operating range from 0 to 1000 megapascal. But it's only usable at high pressure, as at low values of pressure the change in resistance value is very small because of the small value of the pressure coefficient of resistance. Conventional pressure measuring devices such as strain gauge pressure cells and Bourdon tube gauges may be used at pressures as high as 70,000 megapascals. Bourdon tubes for such pressures are nearly round in cross section and have a high ratio of wall thickness to diameter. They are, therefore, quite stiff and deflection per turn is small. For this reason, for measuring high pressures above 70,000 megapascals, this gauge is used, and this is based on the principle of change of resistance with change in pressure. It is known that resistance of fine wires changes with pressure according to the following linear relationship. R equals to R1 times 1 plus B delta P, where R is equal to the resistance at a pressure of 1 atmosphere, and this is given in ohms. B is the pressure coefficient of resistance of the material, and delta P is the gauge pressure. The design of the Bridgman gauge has constantly been improving since its inception. It has a bone ring shaped structure with an insulated manganese wire having a pressure coefficient of resistance 23 times 10 to the power minus 7 centimeter square per kg, so that the total resistance of the wire is 100 ohm. A gold chromium wire pressure sensor may also be used. These wires have an error percentage of plus or minus 0.5. Although the pressure coefficient of resistance of gold is 10 times 10 to the power minus 12 per pascal, it is preferred to manganese in many applications as it has a resistance temperature coefficient which is 1/2 of manganese, and therefore its use results in lower errors on accounts of temperature changes. The winding is generally bifilar, which consists of two wire threads or wires for avoiding the inductive effect. The sensing element does not actually contact the process medium but is separated thereby from a kerosene filled bellows. On one end of the sensing coil is connected to a central terminal as shown, while the other is grounded, thereby completing the necessary electrical circuit. The fine wire used in a typical gauge is made of manganese or gold chrome. The Bridgman gauge is popular for a number of reasons. It has a high degree of accuracy of roughly 0.1%. Its large operating range from 0 to 1000 megapascal gives it a great flexibility, and it's also suitable for extremely high pressures. Along with this, it also has excellent dynamic response. However, it has a few drawbacks of its own. It is poor for low pressures, it requires frequent calibration and control in temperature. It also faces damping from transmitting fluids. The product ranges of sensor manufacturers are usually tailored and optimized to different applications dependent upon the requirements. Only Universal Instruments allow the users themselves to select the suitable sensor principal. This is done only by the leading manufacturers, which give options for these. Other advancements include the use of digital manometers as well. You can measure pressure in various areas using this instrument. You have the possibility of measuring negative pressure, overpressure, and differential pressure. Depending on the instrument, digital manometers can be used for liquids, gases, and air. It is very effective if the instruments have an internal memory, as it is not always possible to analyze the data only on site itself. This makes data storage an important feature from which you can benefit a lot from. These readings can hence be passed on using telemetry. Telemetry is the automatic recording and transmission of data from remote or inaccessible sources to an IT system in a different location for monitoring and analysis. In a general sense, telemetry works through sensors at the remote source, which measures physical data such as precipitation, pressure, and temperature, or electrical data such as current and voltage. This is most commonly and most importantly used in drill stem testing, which is used in oil fields. The DST data, or the drill stem testing data, are used to provide estimated production, fluid analysis, and to help design the final completion and production facilities of the drill itself, along with the pressure in mud drilling. And that brings us to the end of the video. Hope it was informative for you guys. Thank you for watching.